covering news where you live. This is 5 News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Thalls. Cold weather across the region tonight. We'll talk about the potential for frost in a bit. But first, the Razorbacks return to Fayetteville today. We'll take it over to 5 News Sports' Heather Geller, who's covering all of today's action between the Hogs and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Heather.
Arkansas is trying to make it 5 in a row tonight as they welcome in Mississippi State. And what a thriller today, a back-and-forth battle between these two. Arkansas got the ball first, and Drew Morgan easily scores his 10th touchdown of the season. But the Bulldogs would keep pace. The Bulldogs actually took a 17-point lead at one point. But in the third quarter, the Hogs started to get their momentum back to bring it within a field goal. And they'll take the lead back after Cam Richardson picks off a pass to give them the ball right back, and they'll score on the next play. Arkansas puts up 28 unanswered points as they lead it 42-31 as the third quarter wraps up. And I have an update for you a little later on about the game, and 5 News Sports Director Bobby Swafford will have a full recap for you from Razorback Stadium live tonight at 10. Ellen.
All right, Heather, thanks. And besides the Hogs game, the other thing on everyone's minds is the cold weather. Sean, just how cold is it going to get?
Yeah, we already saw a little taste of winter earlier this morning. Actually, a few snowflakes fell. This video sent in from Penny Pennington, no relation to Joe Pennington, by the way, over in Springdale, of a few snowflakes popping into the picture. Other people even saw some sleet, including in West Fork. Overall, though, more of those cold temperatures going to be continuing to be the case too. We actually have a freeze warning that will be in effect now through Sunday morning as temperatures will dip well below freezing. We're actually looking at low temperatures in some areas to be in the upper teens. Current temperatures though close to 30 degrees in Clarksville and Bentonville, already into the mid-20s though in Fayetteville and Tahlequah. We'll talk more about how low these temperatures go and when a warm-up's coming our way coming up in just a bit.
All right, Sean, thanks. Tonight, downtown Bentonville hosted the largest lighting of the square in city history. 5 News reporter Chandler Rogers is live there with a look at all the festivities earlier today. Chandler.
Hey Ellen, this year's lighting ceremony was not only the biggest, but the brightest. A director for the event tells us that earlier today there were about 3,000 people here, and there were even some special guests.
We're out to see as many good little boys and girls as we can possibly see and turn on the lights around the Bentonville Square.
Before the lights came on, Santa and Mrs. Claus made their first appearance at the lighting of the square.
I was just glad the weather changed and got more like what we're used to.
It may have been cold, but the show went on. There was even some live entertainment. And once it got dark, the real show started. Many people were return visitors, but for some, this was not only their first time at the lighting ceremony, but their first Christmas altogether.
To see the Christmas lights so that we could experience our first Christmas with our little girl. So we're excited. It's our first Christmas in Bentonville, too.
Carolyn and Guy Wilcox say the lights didn't disappoint, and their 10-month-old daughter, Etta, agrees.
Well, she can't stop staring at them, so there she goes. What do you think about it, Etta? That's good.
Now the production director with Downtown Bentonville Inc. tells us that this year was so successful, they're already planning ahead for next year. And he says it'll be even bigger and brighter. Live in Bentonville, Chandler Rogers, 5 News.
All right, thanks, Chandler. The lights looked beautiful, and they will stay up throughout the month of December, so make sure to check them out. The holidays are in full swing in the River Valley as Santa Claus has arrived in town. Jolly St. Nick is now at the Central Mall in Fort Smith to find out what's on everyone's Christmas list. The first 250 kids who spoke to Santa today even got a holiday stocking to decorate. We spoke to some kids about what they asked Santa for Christmas.
I asked him to make a my class for Shopkins and Zoe.
Santa will be setting up shop in the main entry of the mall. He will be at the mall every day to hear kids' wish lists until December 24th. The city of Boonville was also in the holiday spirit today as they held their annual Christmas festival. It's the 7th year for the event. It was held this morning at the South Logan County Fairgrounds. The festival featured an assortment of handmade gifts, children's books, and decorations. The organizer of the festival says the event has grown so much since its creation.
This is a festival that I actually started 7 years ago as an outlet for home-based businesses to have a place to go and sell what they have, and It grew to the point that I couldn't no longer handle it by myself.
The Boonville Christmas Festival wrapped up around 3 this afternoon. Over 26 vendors showed up to sell at the festival, and all proceeds from those vendors' admissions fees went towards a local church. The one-stop shopping experience was free and open to the public. A young girl battling brain cancer was crowned junior high homecoming princess last night in Logan County. Lydia Merton is 13 years old and an 8th grader at Scranton High School. Lydia's mother says she was diagnosed in December of last year. Her mother says Lydia is still in treatment until February, but they delayed her next round of chemo just so she could attend the homecoming festivities. Across the nation, 3 people are dead after an early morning shooting in Missouri. Police say the shooting happened around 6:30 this morning. When they arrived on scene, they say they found 1 person dead and a 2nd person in critical condition. The 2nd person was taken to a local hospital where they later died. Police say the suspect was found at the scene with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suspect was taken to a Columbia hospital and later died. A group of Shia and Sunni Muslims rallied against ISIS and other terrorism groups last night in Washington, D.C. The gathering included prayers, a candlelight vigil for the victims of terrorism, and speeches. Muslim leaders say the concern about negative backlash following terror attacks like the one in Paris last week compels them to hold rallies like this one. Friday night's rally ended with a march in front of the White House.
Temperatures going very low tonight. We'll talk about if we're going to see a bounce back in the temperature department coming up.
And still ahead, several local organizations held food drives this morning for those in need. We'll show you some of them when we return.
You're watching 5 News on KXNW 34, the most watched local news at 9.